Have you ever stopped and thought about how much we rely on good communication these days? I mean, from texting with friends to navigating the wild world of AI, it's like our words have never been more important.
Yeah, it's funny because it seems like the rise of AI is actually kind of putting the spotlight back on those basic communication skills we all kind of take for granted.
Right. And that's kind of what we're diving into today. We've got this super interesting article by Chris Tansey, Effective Communication Underpins Virtually All Facets of Modern Life. And it got us thinking, could learning to talk to AI effectively actually make us better communicators in general?
You've hit on something there. I think there's this perception that AI is like this totally separate thing,
Yeah,
almost alien. But the more you learn about it, the more you realize that communicating with AI and, say, managing a team of people actually have some surprising things in common.
okay, so let's unpack. The Tansey talks about this idea called prompt engineering, which is all about giving AI super clear instructions to get the results you want. He gives an example of telling AI to write a 300-word intro to a marketing plan targeting Gen Z versus just saying, write about marketing.
Yeah, it's a bit like trying to get directions from someone, right? Imagine telling someone, go north, versus giving them specific landmarks and turns. The more specific you are, the better the chances of them actually getting to where they need to go. AI needs that same level of detail in its instructions to really deliver.
So it's all about precision. And
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that true for human communication too? The clearer we are in what we're asking for, the better the results we get from our teams, our colleagues, even our families.
Oh, absolutely. Ambiguity is the enemy of productivity, whether you're dealing with a complex AI algorithm or a team of talented individuals.
Makes total sense. Hansi outlines 4 key principles of effective communication that he says apply across the board from AI to human interactions. The first one is clarity and precision, which we've already touched upon.
Yeah, it's really the foundation of everything. Think about it this way. Whether you're prompting AI to write a report or setting goals for your team, clear communication, eliminates all the guesswork and sets everyone up for success.
Totally. And Tansey gives this great example about prompting AI to explain supply chain management to a high schooler versus a more general prompt like discuss supply chain management. The first prompt gives the AI a much clearer understanding of the audience and the desired tone.
Exactly. And that same principle applies in the workplace, too. A manager who tells their team to boost our social media presence is going to get a much less focused result than one who sets a specific measurable goal, like increase engagement by 15% this quarter.
So it's about setting clear expectations and providing that roadmap to success, which brings us to principle number 2, feedback loops and iteration.
This one's all about continuous improvement with AI. It's like debugging code. You refine your prompts based on the output you get, constantly tweaking and adjusting until you hit the mark.
And with humans, it's about performance reviews, regular check-ins, and creating a culture where feedback is welcomed and acted upon. It's about understanding that communication isn't a one-way street. It's a dynamic process of sending and receiving information and refining our approach along the way.
Precisely, whether you're working with AI or humans, feedback loops are essential for growth and development. It's through that constant back and forth that we identify areas for improvement and ultimately achieve better outcomes. So speaking of growth and development, that brings us to principle number 3, adaptability and learning.
Yeah, this one really stood out to me, that AI systems are constantly learning from all the data they're fed, evolving and refining their responses as they go.
It is pretty wild, isn't it? They're like these sponges soaking up information and using it to become more accurate and sophisticated in their output.
And it really makes you realize that we as humans need to embrace that same mindset of continuous learning, especially in a world that's changing as fast as ours. Staying relevant means being adaptable and always, picking up new knowledge and skills.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the workplace. The employees who are willing to learn and adapt to new technologies and industry shifts are the ones who will thrive in the long run.
It's like we're all in a race against obsolescence, whether we're competing with AI or just
Right.
trying to keep pace with the ever-evolving demands of our professions.
That's a great way to put it. And Tansey's fourth principle really kind of underscores that idea. He calls it customization and personalization.
Yes. This is where things get really interesting with AI. You can tailor your prompts based on the specific domain you're working in, like legal, medical, or marketing,
Yeah.
or even adjust the tone you want the AI to use.
It's like having a communication Swiss Army knife. You can adjust your approach to fit the specific task and audience, maximizing the effectiveness of your interaction.
And skilled managers do the same thing with their teams, right? They recognize that each employee has unique strengths, weaknesses, and learning styles, and they adapt their communication and leadership style to get the best out of each person.
Precisely, a manager who uses the same approach for everyone is like a carpenter trying to build a house with only a hammer. You need a diverse set of tools and techniques to effectively connect with and motivate a diverse group of people.
So we've got these four really powerful principles: clarity, feedback, adaptability, and customization that apply across the board, whether we're interacting with AI or our fellow humans. But what I find so fascinating is that these principles go way beyond the workplace. Tansey even talks about how they show up in education.
It's true. Think about the rise of personalized learning platforms. They're using AI to tailor educational content and pacing to each student's individual needs and learning style. It's like having a personal tutor available 24/7.
Great teachers have always done this intuitively, haven't they? Observing their students, providing personalized feedback, and adjusting their teaching methods to make sure each student is engaged and learning effectively.
Exactly. It's like technology is catching up to what effective educators have known for centuries. That personalized communication is the key to unlocking a student's full potential.
And Tansey takes it even further. He talks about how these principles show up in social interactions and even in the design of chatbots.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? We're now designing chatbots with empathy and emotional intelligence, able to build rapport with users and tailor the responses to individual needs.
It's like we're blurring the lines between human and machine communication, and in doing so, we're gaining a deeper understanding of the fundamental principles that make any communication successful.
It really is a fascinating time to be alive, but before we get too carried away with the similarities between AI and human communication, it's important to acknowledge the differences too.
You're right. After all, AI is a tool, a powerful one, but it's not a replacement for human connection and understanding.
AI, for all its advances, still lacks the emotional depth, intuition, and contextual understanding that we have as humans.
It's like AI can process information and respond to prompts super fast,
Mhm.
but it can't truly grasp the nuances of human emotion, the subtle cues and unspoken understanding that shape our interactions.
Exactly. And this difference is crucial when we think about things like creativity, ethical decision making, and building genuine, meaningful relationships. Those are areas where human intelligence still reigns supreme.
So while AI can be an incredible asset in many areas of life, it's important to remember that it's not a magic bullet. It's a tool that we need to use thoughtfully and ethically, always mindful of its limitations as well as its potential.
I couldn't agree more, and Tansey highlights a really crucial point about this in the article. He talks about the importance of understanding the differences in scalability and consistency between AI and humans.
Oh, that's an interesting one. What did he say about that?
Well, AI can scale its output incredibly efficiently. Think about needing to send out thousands of personalized emails. And AI could do that in a matter of seconds, with each email perfectly tailored to the recipient and flawlessly consistent in tone and style. But if you asked a team of humans to do that same task, well, it would take considerably more time and resources.
And let's be honest, there would probably be a few typos and inconsistencies along the way.
Exactly, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, our capacity for creativity, empathy, and nuanced judgment is often what sets us apart and allows us to solve complex problems that AI can't even grasp.
It's like we each have our own unique strengths and weaknesses. AI excels at speed, efficiency, and consistency, while humans bring creativity, emotional intelligence, and the ability to adapt to unexpected situations.
Precisely, it's about recognizing the value that each brings to the table and finding ways to leverage those strengths in a way that benefits everyone.
So where do we go from here? Tansey seems pretty optimistic about the future, especially when it comes to combining AI and human intelligence in powerful ways.
Yeah, I agree. He talks about the potential of AI in HR, for example, where it could be used to personalize training programs or even provide automated feedback systems. Imagine a world where every employee gets customized training recommendations based on their individual strengths and weaknesses.
That would be incredible, and it would free up human managers to focus on the more strategic and interpersonal aspects of their roles, like mentorship, team building, and fostering a positive company culture.
Exactly. But even with all the exciting possibilities of AI, Tansey emphasizes the enduring value of uniquely human skills.
Things like empathy, creativity,
Yeah.
ethical judgment, those are the skills that will become even more valuable in a future where AI is handling more of the routine tasks.
It's about finding that sweet spot, that synergy between AI's strengths and human insight.
A hybrid approach where AI augments and enhances our abilities rather than replacing us entirely. And Tansey seems to suggest that the key to navigating this future successfully lies in, you guessed it, effective communication.
He argues that the principles we use to prompt AI for optimal output can actually teach us a lot about how to communicate more effectively with each other.
It's like by learning to communicate clearly iteratively and with a focus on personalization, we're not just training AI, we're sharpening our own communication skills, which are essential for success in any area of life.
It's a beautiful concept, really. The digital age is forcing us to become more mindful and intentional about how we communicate. And in doing so, it's helping us rediscover the timeless principles that underpin all successful human interaction.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the surprising parallels between prompting AI and managing humans, explored four key principles of effective communication, and even delved into the nuances of AI versus human capabilities in terms of scalability and consistency. Yeah, and through it all, that's like one central theme has kind of emerged, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The importance of clear, adaptable, and personalized communication as the foundation for success in like any area of life. It's like Tansey's saying that whether we're talking to algorithms or each other,
Yeah.
those fundamental principles hold true.
Oh, absolutely. And it really makes you think, how can we take these insights and actually apply them to our own lives? I mean, we're all constantly communicating, right? Whether it's at work at home or even just like navigating the digital world.
For sure. So to like wrap things up here, it seems like this whole deep dive into AI prompting has actually given us this fresh perspective on, human communication.
It really has. And it all circles back to Tansey's main argument. Prompting AI and managing humans share surprisingly similar principles, all rooted in effective communication.
All right, we've learned that clarity, feedback, adaptability, and personalization aren't just buzzwords. They're the building blocks of any successful interaction, whether we're dealing with algorithms or our fellow humans.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to our own communication habits, encouraging us to be more intentional, more precise, and more attuned to the needs of, whoever we're communicating with.
I love that analogy, and it leads us to a really interesting question to think about how can you apply these principles to your own communication, whether it's with people or AI systems.
That's the big question, isn't it? Think about it. How can you be more clear and specific in your instructions? How can you build better feedback loops into your interactions? How can you become more adaptable and personalized in your communication style?
It's like Tansey's giving us a challenge to level up our communication game across the board. And you know what? I think I'm up for it. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. I think this deep dive has been really eye-opening for me, and I'm already thinking about how I can apply these principles in my own life, both professionally and personally.
Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway for all of us. We can all benefit from becoming more mindful and intentional in how we communicate. After all, effective communication is the key. It unlocks understanding, collaboration, and ultimately progress.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we encourage you to take these insights and actually apply them to your own life. Become a master communicator. Whether you're talking to AI leading a team or simply having a conversation with a friend, the principles are the same and the results can be truly transformative.
And remember, the journey of learning and refining our communication skills is an ongoing one. Just as AI systems are constantly evolving, so too should our ability to connect, engage, and inspire through the power of effective communication.
Well said. It's a journey worth taking, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of communication in the digital age. Until next time, keep those communication channels open and flowing.